You are now entering the lane.
Welcome back, everyone. This week, we discuss resets in MOBA games and how they should work. Things start poppin' and or lockin' with Poppy as we all try her out for the character select, and we say goodbye to Dominion. All this and more on episode 80 of the Lane Podcast.
Triple kill. Pentakill. Dominating.
The Lane Podcast.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Lane Podcast, your weekly podcast covering the world of MOBA games. I am Jake Williams. I've brought along, of course, my fellow MOBros, who I would not do this show without, Brad Stark and Brad Chmielewski, for another week. Guys, what's up?
What's up?
I almost didn't do this show. Would you have done it anyway?
You mean like back in the day you almost didn't?
No, I mean like today.
Today you were just done.
Right.
You didn't want it.
It's been a rough week for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a rough week for me, and I there was so much I needed to do this week that I wasn't able to.
Yeah.
That I was like, I might just not be able to do the show.
This is kind of like a vacation for you now, though.
Right. It's maybe.
Leaving your house is a vacation.
Yeah, leaving my house is a
Let's
vacation.
hope so at this point. Guys, welcome back. This is episode 80 of the Lane Podcast. Hard to believe, humble beginnings. We started back on episode 1, as most shows do.
Right, yeah. You usually start at 1.
Some of them start at 0.
Yeah, some started 0.
I get it, but you know what? Just go full in.
Yeah, we don't need a
We didn't
test
waste that.
show, a pilot.
Like, think about it. If we had done the goofy, it's episode 0, just trying things out, guys, this would be 79, and that would be lame. This wouldn't nearly be as fun.
80 isn't like magnificently more awesome than 79.
Come on, it's an even number as opposed to...
It makes us close to
I
doing
think
100.
Yeah.
I think 79's a prime number.
I don't really like... I get things against 79. I don't know what it is.
80 is inconsequential to the universe. 79 is where it's at.
We've done 4 episode 20s. This is what we've done.
Have
That's
we?
what it is.
All right.
That's enough of that. I'm just going to stop.
What, 4 scores of episodes ago?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's what we are. This is the 4th score.
This is our
of the Lane
Abraham
Podcast.
Lincoln episode.
With that, we're just going to stop
Gettysburg.
talking about the number and talk about what we've been playing this week.
What we've been playing.
Before we get into what we've been playing this week, wanted to remind you guys, once again, we've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, to go and sign up for the Trinity Force Inter-Podcast Tournament. Stark and I were over on the Trinity Force podcast, the League of Legends podcast. It was like 322 or something.
It was
feels
like
a
right
few months
after
ago
the
now.
new year.
Mhm.
So it was like January 4th or something.
Oh, that's right. So about 6 weeks ago or so now, or 5 weeks ago.
4 or 5 weeks.
But we have a link for you over in the show notes at thelanepodcast.com. That link is tinyurl.com/tforce interpodcast tournament. If you hadn't heard the past shows, guys, what this is a tournament that Trinity Force is organizing where you can go and sign up as a viewer. You can tell them what show sent you. We're going to recommend the Lane Podcast on that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The other podcasts are okay, but
And they're going to match you on teams. It sounds like you were saying, Stark, the format is kind of like mix and match where you came from podcast.
yeah, part of the application process or whatever is to tell them if you're bronze, if you're platinum, if you're whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's to hopefully match up skill levels. So there isn't a team of 5 plats and a team of 5 bronzes. I think it's to make equal teams.
Right. So that should be a lot of fun, guys. Check that out. It's in our show notes at thelanepodcast.com. You can find that with episode 80 this week. It's right at the top of the show notes, so you don't have to dig too far for that. And then also I wanted to mention, because I totally forgot on the top of the show, I got caught up on the silly 80 crap. We're streaming again over on Twitch, so we typically record Thursday evenings. You can usually expect us around 6 p.m. Central. It's around 7 Eastern, around when we try to start. Sometimes earlier, sometimes later.
Yeah.
But right around there. So we stream for a couple of hours. You get to see the raw, unedited show where we take breaks
You
and
get
stuff.
the little bumpers, because I don't always get the video version up as quickly as the audio. Sometimes it's a few days later. Sometimes it's the week later.
Yeah.
It's a little bit extra content too, because we talk about inside baseball in between segments of the show.
Right, and it's kind of a behind-the-scenes thing, too, to kind of see how we like to organize the show, talk about, we usually do a rundown together when we finally meet up and talk about what we want to talk about for the day. So check us out at twitch.tv/TheLanePodcast, again, around 6 Central or so. Or just hit the follow button when you're over there on Twitch. That's probably the easiest way to figure out when we go live. That's enough banter about tournaments and Twitch. Guys, what have you been playing this week? Brad, let's start with you.
Well, I gotta say, we attempted to play Adventure Time Battle Party last week after we recorded, and that was an epic fail.
Has anyone went back and tried again since? Did we go at a bad time, or is it dead?
Yeah, it seemed like we were getting a bug where just the game wasn't loading. We were getting a black screen.
Right. It's a browser game, so it uses web something.
And since Chrome stopped support for
I think it's the Unity player that's actually installed. You have to install to play it.
But Chrome stopped support for the Unity player, so we had to switch over to Safari and Firefox, and neither one of those loaded it.
We still couldn't get it.
Yeah.
So
it was kind of a bummer because we had an epiphany moment of kind of hyped to just play this goofy MOBA that we hadn't played in. It's probably been over a year since we played this thing
for you guys,
and it was gone that night. But it seems like the Reddit. We even went to the Reddit, and they're like, "So is this game done?" Or I wouldn't be surprised to see that it just up and died.
Yeah.
It's just a flash game. Those things get rotated in all the time for Cartoon Network, and
so it was fun, right? Well, it lasted.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna keep trying.
We'll revisit that and see if it's back up. There was one person who had an insane amount of points on the leaderboard, and then everyone else was so far behind that. Somebody plays it a lot.
And when we say insane, we're talking 16 million to 4,000. The difference.
It was kind of nuts. So we all tried that. And then as far as other games, still trying to stream Call of Champions on Monday. So I was playing a lot of the character Ash. He's like this. He has a fear, and just trying to get the hang of him.
Guy Ash.
Guy Ash. This guy Ash.
Yeah, not Lady Ash. Lady Ash is League of Legends.
Yeah. No, the guy Ash. And spelled just without the E. Right?
Okay, so it's he's like fire.
Yeah, he's like ashes. Yeah. So he does. He burns champions and fears them away. So I've been trying to get the hang of him.
Was that because yesterday was Ash Wednesday?
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
Nice.
I should have.
Yeah. Wait,
exactly.
Is that your stream? You're every Wednesday is Ash Wednesday?
You guys didn't watch yesterday? That's all I did. I just streamed. I just played Ash all day. On the stream because of Ash Wednesday.
You're every Wednesday I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So I was trying him out, and then as far as the Vainglory flunk goes, I put out a ton of stuff for Shadow of the Vein this week, so I haven't got a chance to play very much. I did hit Simply Amazing. I almost had Simply Amazing Silver in the skill tier, and then lost 5, 6 in a row, and then I was on that kick of I just want to win one so I can go to bed. And then I was in one more. It was 2 a.m.
Don't do that.
And then
not to
someone dodged and didn't happen. I was like, yeah, this is better off. I should just leave and stop. Not right now and go to sleep.
They should change Simply Amazing to "You're simply the best." Silver. That's what they should do.
You get this. The song plays.
Yeah, the song plays every time you load your.
Better than all the rest.
Yeah, that's the next rank.
Yeah. So went on an awful losing streak, and I don't think I've jumped into rank since that. I've been defeated, and just all right, I'll play some casual games and goof around, and because they're doing a lot of events right now where they had the 8 crazy cards where you get all these legendary cards, and then you had Double Glory Weekend is happening. We're recording right now, or not weekend, Double Glory Day. It's happening right now. We should be playing the game, not doing this podcast.
Oh yeah, you should also be opening your red envelopes.
Yeah, every day logging in to get your free glory. So making sure I do that on both of my main accounts that I play. So yeah, no I guess epic games besides maybe the league game of playing Poppy that we'll probably get into here. Or you could talk about the Lucian game you had, Jake.
We'll talk about the Lucian portion of it.
If you want to mention the Lucian game again,
we'll save the Poppy portion for our character select today. Yeah,
but that's most of my MOBAing this week.
Cool. What have you been up to, Stark?
Not a lot. Didn't play a lot of games this week. Went on a trip over the weekend, and then the past few days have been really stressful for me, and so I played a couple, but I've just been kind of trying to keep my mind off things. And but I did make a solid attempt playing a few games as Rhaegar in Heroes of the Storm. He got a huge update recently.
Yeah.
People are hyped about it, so I wanted to give it a shot. I'd never even played Rhaegar before.
So is he free this week? So you had time to just play him, or did you own him
Yep,
already?
he was free. He's free. He was free, so I was like, all right, here, I'm going to do it. I'll play the new Rhaegar. It's interesting.
Interesting how? You sound like you're not convinced he's strong.
I'm not convinced he's strong. I don't know. Maybe I'm not playing him right. Maybe it's because I don't understand him. Mm-hmm. I like how he can move around the map quickly.
Yeah.
And I like how he immediately mounts, which is awesome, you know?
Yeah.
That's a great tool. I don't think, except for his ult, I don't think he's a great healer. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like he has the best utility outside of the electric shield or whatever, thunder shield.
Sure. And the very popular build right now is to build all into that.
Yes.
Which is weird to me.
Which I tried. That's what I was doing.
Yeah. Your heals definitely pick up, I think, the later you get. Because there's some better augment talent. Like first it's like, reduce mana cost or hit another target, right? Yeah. Later there's like a heal over time talent. But again, people have been opting for this like lightning shield build on Rhaegar, which is mostly just adding damage. I think it's level 13. One gives a shield when you give him a shield.
Yes, so you get two shields.
Which that was the talent people picked before anyway. But I'm just still shocked that I'm like, wait, wouldn't you want him to be a better healer? He's just like an aggro healer.
I guess I just don't understand what the difference was between old him and new him to make him quote unquote OP now, because I didn't feel OP.
Right. I still think it's his early game struggles.
He doesn't really have any CC.
And I feel like, well, you got your little totem thing, but depends
I
on
like
how you
that
use
one,
it.
actually. Yeah.
And I feel like you have more damage than people give you credit for, because you can quickly, because of that auto mount, you turn into the Ghost Wolf. You now get the trait, it used to be called Feral Lunge, but when you dive at somebody and attack in Ghost Wolf form, it does, I don't know that it's really 200%, but it does more. It's almost like a free crit.
And it also, when you do a Feral Lunge, believe there's a talent where it will like decrease your cooldowns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of cool stuff like that. I think it's just you have to hope that your team clumps up, because that's when you're going to get the most out of your heals. The problem is your heals, you might need that cooldown thing, because your heals really aren't up that often.
No, that was the thing. Was I'm like, oh, here's a heal, 16-second cooldown.
Yeah, and that's why it feels bad sometimes. You, or at least in my experience, I haven't played him. I've only played him like once recently. You feel like you're in fights and you're kind of just hanging out in the back, watching your team maybe get like a little low, and then you pop your heal and you're like, well, I hope they don't keep fighting because I can't heal you again for a while.
Yeah, I felt like the most useful I was as Rhaegar was in chases, because I could quickly get to someone, drop the Earthquake Totem or whatever it is, and then that would slow them enough to get for the rest of my team to come and kill them.
Right, and considering you can reposition fast with your lunge, right? Your attack, you lunge to them and totem them quickly, right?
Yeah.
That was always fun. Maybe the Lightning Shield build is more about the extra damage it provides for your melee or your tank who are going in, but also like the wave clear you can just give yourself, or you can give it to a minion and they'll just clear the wave for you.
Yeah, I did like that for a support, his wave clear is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like new Rhaegar is all about, or at least in my experience so far playing him, it's like I'm frontline basically. I'm like diving and stuff, and then your heal is like really your ult heal, the ancestral healing is like so. Man, it feels so bad when you barely miss. But sometimes it's one of the most rewarding things in the game when you hit it.
It takes like a second plus change for it to you have to channel it.
The
basically.
delay is huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a guy basically needs to be more than a second away from dying when you start that ult. If they kill him before you finish the channel, it just doesn't matter.
At a lower cooldown, I think. But
you
otherwise,
get a lower cooldown, right?
I've seen a lot of damage Rhaegars recently. People trying to do Bloodlust, the other heroic, but it seems to just not be quite where it needs to be.
I tried that too when I was on a team with another healer. Yeah, or I was like a secondary healer. I was like, all right, fine, I'll Bloodlust.
And then if you don't have auto attack people, you're like, well, this is useless.
Right.
I don't need this. Yeah.
So you're off the Diablo train then?
No, I was just trying. I'm still liking Diablo. He's often very often the first pick nowadays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? He's in ranked, at least, he's like, someone grab Diablo.
Yeah.
So if I'm not first pick, or if I'm not at the top of the order, I usually don't get to play Diablo. And so Xzibit, Hammer a little bit, because I had some specialist challenges I wanted to get through. And then Raynor, So that was good.
Dude, I had a specialist quest this week, and I was kind of bummed because I had also had StarCraft, and I'm staring Abathur in the face. And I'm like,
No,
I
don't
know
do
you're
it.
good, but I don't like how you feel to
His
play.
win rate is abysmal. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I just
No, Lost Vikings is really.
I know that like the mines. I think I still contend that the most broken thing in the game, or the thing I hate playing against the most, is Abathur's slowing mines. There's a pretty big radius. You can drop them as much as you want, basically, and they slow you like over 50% or more.
Okay.
So you hit this thing, you suddenly see the guy for 5 seconds, and they just can't leave.
Yeah.
Yet I just don't like being Abathur. I like being the guy on my character killing dudes.
I agree.
You know.
Do you guys think someone like Sergeant Hammer could work in League of Legends at all? Like everyone in League has a similar movement speed, and so someone being like really slow,
She
like
kind of already did exist in Old Xerath. If you guys remember Old
Okay.
Xerath,
Okay.
one of his things, he actually had like a
root.
root where he'd root himself, and then his abilities had like a longer range.
Yeah.
That was kind of the same thing, and then they got rid of it.
So I guess the answer is no.
it doesn't work.
Not
Or they-
now.
I think it just updated
especially
him.
with we were bitching last week about like movement in League of Legends just wins games.
And we're seeing like lots more focus on CC stun, just being able to manage where people are, where enemies are. If you already lock yourself down, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Free LeBlanc chains, free this or that thing, you know.
Yeah, but we don't see a lot of champions in League that do have different movement speeds. Except Janna's a little faster, but it's not that much.
There's nobody where it feels like an overt part of their kit. Where
Nilly?
it's kind of, yeah, I
With
guess
the
the fact
lunge,
that you can hop forever,
But that's ability. It's not just her like
Right.
general
Yeah.
speed.
even like a Lunara kind of thing
Bard.
in Heroes, where it's like she just moves 20% faster than every other hero, but we take some other stuff away from her for that,
Yeah.
for that not to be overpowered.
There's Bard.
Yeah.
He gets movement speed when
Chimes
he hits the
and stuff.
chime.
Yeah.
Picks things up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had something else to say about Heroes of the Storm.
Rhaegar, Diablo.
Yeah, Rhaegar.
Sergeant Hammer.
Oh, so I briefly texted you about this yesterday, I believe, but I hit 10,000. I'm ready to get another hero,
Okay.
and I don't know if I want to get Greymane
Okay.
because I don't have him yet, or Li Ming because she's not 10 yet. She's 15, and so if I wait another week, I think, right?
Yeah, because she's only been out for like 10 days or something.
Yeah. So if I wait another week, she'll be 10 and I can get her. And so Greymane now, but no one plays him in ranked. Like, he's just not getting played. Or Li Ming, who everybody plays.
Yeah, I would be in the Li Ming camp.
Yeah.
But I also picked her up and I was not as impressed as I should be, but I only played one game. So I think I need time.
I think you have to play her the right way.
Sure.
Did you do the orb build? Seems to be the
mostly
dominant
I had
one.
to start going safe like later because they were just destroying us.
Was there someone else older that you would pick up, or those are kind of like?
I think I need to get one of those too.
You sold on those guys?
I think I need to get one of those too because I had such a good time playing Greymane at BlizzCon. I know you talked about that. It's not as fun, but
yeah, I don't know. We had a Greymane in a game I played a couple of nights ago, and I always just feel like he's super underwhelming, or maybe I just don't play with great ones.
Yeah.
I don't consider myself a great one. I just see him like dive in and die, and I'm like, well, great, dude. What? Come on.
out of all the heroes that are in the game right now, I feel like I'm good, except for not having the new ones. I mean, I don't have the assassins because I don't play that crap. I don't have Kael Thas.
But there's somebody you need. But Li Ming is an assassin. You could also wait and see how Zul comes out. Wait another. He's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks away, maybe, and see like what's he like in the meta, or at least do the try.
By then, maybe I'll have another 10.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to wait for that. I don't think I want to wait that long.
I was just looking at other characters. I was like, who else would Stark want? You picked up Thrall already, right?
Yeah.
So you got him. Other than that, I'm looking at characters going like, Stark wouldn't like any of these people.
Yeah, exactly.
know?
It's Li Ming or it's Greymane
Or Chen.
or
You need Chen.
Chen.
I feel like Chen's a niche pick. That people who are good at Chen are the most annoying. Like, it's just one
I'm
of those
just gonna
annoying
sit here and
characters.
drink my stuff, and you can't do anything about it.
And then I'm going to jump and you try to get by me. I'm like, where are you going? What's going on? Huh?
And then I turn into a giant keg, and I just start bumping into you.
What's wrong with that? Nothing.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Don't trust me. Just
I'm not going to get Chen because I think he's 10, right? He's really expensive.
He might still be 10.
He's really expensive for being a niche pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Abathur was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, that's the other thing
That's
I
what
wanted
you've
to
been
talk
up
about. Yeah.
Cool. I did play a handful of Heroes. I have been indie gamed out. You guys know about my travels with The Witness. So this is a non-spoiler part of The Witness, so don't worry, guys. I finished let's call it the story. With quotes, story. Okay. Basically.
Were you happy with the story?
Yeah, I still like the game. I've gotten a lot of, I think I'm like 46 hours played, so I'm under $1 per hour for entertainment value, basically.
It's pretty good.
But I've found other things in the game to do, being as vague as possible, that I didn't know existed, so I've been doing those. And then Firewatch just came out, so I've been playing a bunch of that.
Oh, you did? You got it?
Yeah, I finished it. It's about a 5-hour game.
That's what I heard. And when I heard the review for it, and I know this isn't like an adventure game podcast or anything, but we'll talk about it briefly. But after I read the reviews and saw how short it was and everything, I was like, you know what? I can wait and get this like 50% off
when it's like on sale
in
or something.
5 months.
Yeah, that's true. Or just watch someone's gameplay video and be like, man, this is a sweet movie.
And it's really for the story and the art. It's really not a game I think you're going to come back to a lot. It's pretty cool for a studio's first game. But I've been playing a lot of those. So I did finally get some time in some MOBAs. The last couple of nights here, mainly Heroes. I played Lily and Murky. I was going with the short Heroes.
Nice.
I had some specialist games. Murky is still the ultimate, like, I'm just going to play 1v5. You know? Like, you guys do what you want. I'm kind of doing stuff down here.
I'm doing my thing down here, but don't expect me to join you for objectives and stuff.
Yeah.
Just let me do my thing.
No, exactly. And Murky was one of the heroes that got new art for his icons, and they're awesome. I should have tweeted out a photo. I tried to take a photo last night.
Diablo got them too.
Yeah, they look dope.
Oh, cool.
Really confused me when I first got it. I'm like, where's my...
I think the best one is the puffer fish, the W. Mm-hmm. Now the fish has these big, huge, bulging eyes. Like, it looks like a wacky cartoon thing, right? So a lot of that. And so I picked Lily. And the problem I have with Lily, I played her in like 2 or 3 games. I had support. And I was like, let's play someone I don't play very often. I played Lily like probably a lot of you guys when you start playing Heroes of the Storm. She's relatively cheap. She tends to be free a lot because she's simple, right? Probably one of the simplest characters in the game. But I just don't pick her for some reason anymore. I played her to level 6 or 7 or whatever I am, and it's not even that she's boring. I consider myself like I'm just going to die a lot, which is totally the opposite of what actually happens when you pick Lily.
Yeah.
Anytime you get attacked, you get movement speed, so you can instantly just run away. Your heal is literally you mashing Q. It's kind of like playing Sylvanas, where you're just mashing Q the whole time, right? And so I decided to pick her, and in a meta right now where everybody's picking Li Ming, so to counter that, people are picking characters like Illidan, like Zeratul, who are auto-attack based champions that can stick to her. Lily is a pretty darn good counter, especially considering her blind hits 2 targets for free.
She's a counter to the counter.
Right.
She's the Xzibit of
right.
of Heroes of the Storm.
Yo, dog, I heard you like counters.
So I put a counter on your counter.
Right, exactly.
To counter you when you counter.
It's literally it's the Inception meta is what I'm playing.
Right.
I'm a step ahead of the meta right now, and it feels so good.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that Lily's broken or overpowered or anything.
She's not.
But I had a lot of fun on her, honestly. The Jug of Cups thing is great. Apparently, people weren't stunning me out of it, which is silly.
Didn't go Dragon?
No, you got to go Jug
I was
of
the
Cups.
only... If there was a second healer, I might have gone Dragon.
Yeah. If you're going to play competitive, you got to go Jug of Cups right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
We got to build a comp. We got to build a duo comp that we can duo quick match that makes Dragon better. You know, like some other benefit or something. Who knows? Maybe it's a stupid like Gazlo bomb into Dragon.
Think tank.
Think tank, yeah.
Think tank.
So I did play some heroes. I'm kind of just goofing off in quick match. I picked up Li Ming, and I got to get better at her. But I'm now 3 in one of my placements in League of Legends. So I think I'm through more placements than I was all of last year, and it's only the 2nd month.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm only 2 now. 1 and 1.
And we didn't do so well last night.
Last night, no.
Did I tell you I finished my placements?
Oh, you finished them all?
Yeah.
Where'd you end up?
Silver 5.
Which is where you higher than you actually thought you were going. You were not giving yourself credit.
No, I was like, I'm going to get bronze again. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But Silver 5, and I was Silver 2 when I, at the end of the last season. So
when you were playing, yeah. So you got some room to climb.
But I haven't been playing since I got the placement. I played 2 games since, and it's been like a week or 2.
I found myself, and notoriously on this show, people who've listened for a long time probably know that I don't really like ranked. I have an anxiety. Now I just kind of queue up for it because I think I don't play enough anymore.
Right.
That I just
for it to matter.
For it to matter. Plus that it's dynamic. I haven't played with any groups yet. I've played solo and then one with Brad here.
I just don't like playing League of Legends by myself anymore, I've discovered. if I'm gonna just be by myself, I'd rather play Heroes of the Storm.
Mm-hmm.
So the dynamic queue is cool, but nobody ever wants to dynamic queue with a 5-stack because there's no team league anymore.
Sure.
So if you've got a 4 or a 5-stack of people and you're playing dynamic queue and ranked, you're gonna run up against people who used to play in team league.
Sure.
Oh, okay. So they're better.
They're better. They're all on Skype. They probably just spam games together.
Yeah. So you're probably better off doing 3 people. It's like the sweet spot, maybe.
Yeah.
Especially if you can have 3 roles, like one at least jungle, so you can sort of influence and talk about where you're going to go.
Right. I think you're probably best, a solo lane, jungle, and then someone in the bot lane.
Yeah. But Brad and I had a placement game. I ended up getting 80 carry, and you got to go Poppy support, which was kind of nice.
I did. Yeah, I've never played Poppy before, and we go into rank and like whatever. We don't care.
We don't really put a lot of weight into it.
But we do not recommend going into rank as a character you've never played.
Yeah, well, I absolutely object to this.
But
if you did that while I was playing with you, I would cancel. I would drop. I'd take the LP hit because I do not support this.
The game was just one of the weirdest ones. I feel like we got crushed really early, and it's that feeling of like, oh my goodness, they've taken all outer towers. I think we might have been ahead in dragons, but we hadn't gotten a tower for like 15 minutes or something stupid.
I don't know how we didn't get any towers in that. It was like, say we got one at the end.
It ended up being this weird situation where, as Lucian, I was one of the only sustained damage it felt like on our team. We had Xin Zhao, who would constantly dive and die, and then blame me. To be fair, I got caught plenty of times. It was kind of my fault.
Yeah.
But we also had Shen, and LeBlanc was our mid laner, right?
Yeah.
And
seems like a good team comp, actually.
it felt fine. The damage, though, just didn't seem to be there because every single fight, Lissandra would ult me immediately.
You're dead.
And I'm dead. And suddenly it's like, well, sorry about that damage.
Then a Mumu ults. I'm dead because I'm in there. And then now LeBlanc is dead because she's LeBlanc, and if she didn't kill somebody, she's instantly dead.
Yeah. So it was just the weirdest 52-minute game that went to almost 1 a.m. or something. But the weirdest thing is, I swear to God, we did not win one actual team fight. We never got an ace.
won one.
We never got an ace until they took down both of our Nexus turrets, and then we're about to win the game. And the Nexus is one hit. I'm not even kidding you here from dying, and somehow we killed everyone. And Brad and I are both like, oh, I guess we're still playing. Go win. Everyone's typing in caps.
And we're like pushing down the lane.
Yeah, no, you just F the pushing, walk to those, tank those turrets. You've got 70-second timers on those.
Well,
that was the goal.
We only had one tower down.
So we went. So we had to go through lots of towers, but also waves of super minions. Shen stayed back to clear because he was going to just use his ult to come to us, but never came to us. And then Lissandra was the first person up. Triple kill.
Insta killed me.
Blows you up.
I didn't use my Face of Mountain. I forget to use the Face of Mountain all the time. I feel like it needs to make clearer that you have activatable in League, but that's my own fault for not remembering to use Face of the Mountain.
League loves activatables.
Sure.
But I feel like Face the Mountain would be better if it was auto enacted anytime someone within a certain radius or anytime someone in a certain radius of you goes below a certain health threshold.
Kind of like what's the AD one that they get against mages?
Witch Hunter, right?
Yeah, it activates a certain amount. Like when you're about to die, it kicks in, you get a shield.
You get a magic shield for a certain amount. Like that, but to people around you.
Right.
You know?
But just a weird, interesting game.
We got that Nexus, we got the Inhib turret, and then we couldn't kill Lissandra, and no one stayed to finish that Nexus, or the Inhib. And then they just pushed down.
They didn't understand, literally, if we didn't take that was our only shot to at least have one lane push back.
Right.
If we didn't take
and
that,
then
we all just died.
You could use that pressure to get another lane push.
It was basically the equivalent of after we died, we're like, well, guys, they're just going to get Baron and win. We can't.
Because then they didn't even push down the lane. This is how, just, I guess, low on the totem pole of people we were playing. They all came up. They had killed 3 of us, and they didn't push down the lane that had no Nexus
towers or anything.
They went and got Baron, and we all respawned, and then we had one more fight, and they killed us because they were way ahead.
But it was definitely a case of I'm rusty, and also don't play against really top tier picks very often. We left Gangplank up, but I'm sure I'm bronze elo at this point. He was not the problem. It was Lysandra that I was not prepared to. Anytime she would E, I would immediately dash or try to get away because I knew she was coming for me.
You need Quicksilver Sash.
I eventually had it, yeah. But eventually it was like, too late.
You were support Poppy?
Yeah.
You need to get Mikhail's.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I was too worried, trying to figure out the combo.
So then you've got 2. So, if one's down, the other one's there, and then you immediately get out of that, and then you can kite back.
Right, yeah. So it was just a very weird game. Our lane, we laned against Jhin Blitz.
Let me teach you how to ADC.
Oh my god! Don't even start. If you were in this game, there would have been a lot more cursing, I think. We played against Jhin Blitz. The Jhin actually seemed pretty good. There were definitely opportunities where I'd just walk up and kill him because he couldn't walk away from me if he didn't have flash. But the Blitz felt like maybe just a friend who just got the game or something.
But he still won.
Sometimes sometimes you get the game. But
he also was solo pushing a lane, and then our team wouldn't fight. I'm like, Blitz isn't here. Like, fight him. But our team was too scared. It's like, we have 5, they have 4. We should win this, guys. If we don't, we don't.
We should also mention, I think we had 2 Spanish language people on our team, so we actually couldn't really communicate with them. They kept saying stuff, and Brad and I are like, I don't know, let's just keep pushing this lane. I don't know. So, whatever. We had a good time with it. So, 3-1 in placements is the current update. So, I still got, 10 total? Not like Heroes is 20 placements. I think League's only 10. So, we'll see which bronze I get put in 6 games. Maybe this weekend. I got a lot of time this weekend.
What do you think? 5? 2? I bet you 2.
Where I'm at? Yeah. So, let's look historically at my ranked history, right? I've only done it one time. I got to bronze 1, and then I never played ranked again. I was like, this is good enough for me. Mm-hmm. Last season didn't finish, so it's probably like 2 or 3. Yeah. Right? I'm sure something decayed over time, or I just don't play frequently enough for it to know where to put me. It's like, I don't know.
Right.
Or maybe that will work in my favor, and they'll be like, oh, dude, you're platinum. Get out of here. No. I'm not holding my breath. Cool. That's all we have been playing this week. Quickly, before we jump into our news, wanted to remind you guys about what we're going to do this month for the monthly MOBA Challenge.
Weekly Challenge.
For the month of February, we let you guys know last month that we are doing a new challenge, being that it is the shortest month of the year. However, this year, only by a couple days, or one day in this case.
Leap year.
We're doing short month, short hero. So we're encouraging you guys to have a little fun in your games, and when you're picking your champion or your hero in your next MOBA match, consider the little guys. Maybe play that murky game you've been wanting to do, because he's not free this week, but,
Or you showed me this crazy clip of Teemo.
Don't play Teemo.
He gets stealth just going in the bush.
Yeah, is the new stealth mechanic that he just walks in the bush and he's stealth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So play Teemo.
There's like a Great Escape Teemo. It hit the top of Reddit.
Yeah.
And it was amazing, and it looked
so
much
it's not
fun.
an immediate stealth thing, but it's I think after a second he goes stealth.
Mm-hmm. So it's way quicker.
Yeah, right.
So we're encouraging you to play Teemo.
No, I'm not encouraging you to play Teemo.
You can blame the Lane podcast for all the Teemo games.
You can blame the rest of Lane podcast because I am not endorsing.
And I'm gonna play probably some more Poppy. I had fun playing with Poppy, and I think I understood her after 50 minutes of playing her.
After a very long training game, you think you got the hang of her. Well, then if
play
you're
some Gnar.
If you're not going to recommend Teemo, who are you going to recommend?
Gnar.
Sir?
Play some Gnar.
Gnar's your guy this week.
He's a little. Well, I like Gnar in general. Mm-hmm. He's a good dude.
It's also been. Well, what did we say about Gnar though? If you go mega,
you can't play.
You got to. Yep. You just got to alt tab. You can't watch and then wait. What is it like? 30 seconds or something like that?
You better learn.
And then we got Petal, and you can play Scarf in Vainglory.
Yeah, I got to get some Scarf games in, because he's the only guy I feel like I do anything useful with.
He's pretty good right now.
Maybe you can play Lost Vikings.
Yeah, that would actually count for the whole month, I think, if you play 3 small characters at once.
Yeah,
right.
Then you don't have to do it for the rest of the month.
was actually just going to multi-box and play Lily, Murky, and Gazlo all at the same time.
I'm one team.
I will count Gazlo as a small guy. He just happens to have a giant robot. It's like kind of, you could almost count. Could you almost count Nunu? Isn't Nunu like a dude on the
Nunu is
back?
Nunu's I think he's a Yordle on a
yeah.
We can count Rumble.
You can count Rumble. He's got a mech suit, so you can count Gazlo. I'm just saying.
I don't like these loopholes.
They're not loopholes. It's all about the MOBA challenge.
Rumble is listed as a Yordle.
It's true.
It's fine.
But anyway, so we're recommending you guys just have some fun. Let us know how your games are going at The Lane Podcast on Twitter. Some of the fun games you've had as either a Yordle or maybe one of the smaller heroes. Don't forget about the little guys this month for Short Month, Short Heroes. With that, it's time to talk about this week's news.
This is the news.
In our news this week, it's not our news, it's MOBA news. Who am I kidding? I've claimed all of the news.
We
for all of the games.
We are the news source for MOBAs.
The official news outlet. Yeah.
Of
Yeah,
MOBAs.
if you're looking for one podcast that talks about all of the news, well,
That talks about
a bunch of the news. Let's be real.
some of the news.
Sorry, we gotta just. I'm just gonna
Because there was
offer apologies.
there was a Smite patch this week that
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah,
talking
no,
about.
I'm going to apologize for the Smite and Dota players who might want more out of the Lane podcast. We have just run out of time at this point to play more games.
We did the whole thing like, oh, do you like 2-hour-long podcasts or do you like our shorter ones?
Mm-hmm.
If we talked about Smite and Dota, I don't think that we could have a job today. Like we would have to come in at 9, start the podcast
All day production. Yeah.
all like and just
We'd also have to play all the games, which
Right.
requires us to not have a job.
yeah.
All right,
So-
let's do it. That
All
sounds great.
Is
Set up
Loose
that-
Keys Radio gonna pay us?
Set up that Patreon page,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
if you want to have us talk about Smite, pay for us to play it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thresholds
Ooh,
of
that's
our
a good one.
Patreon guys is we will start playing other games.
We will hit.
Yeah.
I guess I could play it on my Xbox.
There you go.
Oh, speaking of Xbox and MOBAs, I guess this is a news item. Is the NDA has been lifted on Gigantic?
Ooh, really? So
Yeah.
if you're in the beta, they're allowing people to just talk about it?
Yeah, you can talk about it. You can post screenshots. You can stream it.
Oh, cool.
Which I think at this point, let's be honest, I think we've probably said we've been playing it. Or
Yeah.
have played it,
Yeah,
right?
I think we have said that we were playing. We just haven't necessarily.
But we don't bring it
Given
up every
detail,
week.
Talked
Yeah.
about, yeah.
Well, then, if that's the case, I will give my review as pretty fun.
That's all right.
I only got to play a couple matches at your place, but that was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all right.
Wait, does that mean I can play it now? It's got to be on PC
Yeah,
because I didn't have my
do you have a
computer
beta
at the
key?
time. Yeah, I gave you mine,
But
Nah.
that's the only beta. That
No,
beta
but then I
key
had
is-
more. I had extras.
but I
Oh,
didn't have an Xbox, so I gave it to you,
Right.
and I don't believe it's on Mac.
and then they
Sorry,
gave
Mac
me
guys.
some to hand out to people, and I
okay.
gave one to Chaz,
Okay.
Yeah,
and I have an extra.
I'm sitting on a beta, or I downloaded Smite. I have not booted it up yet. It's all installed. I'm also sitting on Paladins, but I haven't.
Yeah.
I know you don't like. All right, the real news this week, however, though, we have a balance patch from Heroes of the Storm. It came out February 10th, 2016. We're recording the show on February 11th, so very fresh, just yesterday. And aside from the actual notes of the patch, I think Blizzard has a schedule now. It seems like every 2 weeks we're seeing a patch now.
You
And
think
the-
like this is a response?
To our podcast?
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
I know. We know Dustin Browder listens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we talked. He's got a coaster.
He's got a coaster.
It's tacked up
yeah.
in his office.
He's literally on his desk right
Please
now.
wait, Dustin, if you're listening, please tell me you still have our coaster. That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
Tweet
all
us
I wanna-
at the Lane Podcast.
That's all I want to know. So Heroes of the Storm balance patch. So this has been, I think, the third time we've seen a balance patch. It was like January 27th was one. Maybe this is like the second one. I don't remember the full patches.
I feel like this is the third update in a month.
Let's see. Okay, so we have January 27th. Then we had another one on the 2nd. And now
Yeah.
we have 10th. So
Boom.
yeah, so
Three.
we have about every 2 weeks we're starting to see this patch. And I think this is a response to the way the community really did not like a month
2
ago on the
months.
show the
holiday break.
the holiday break, along with what the meta became. Like taking roughly 2 months off with no patches put the meta in a state of such staleness that it was literally roll the dice. If you get first pick, you have a much higher success, or seemingly a much
Right.
higher success rate.
Pick
at winning the game.
Tyrande, win.
And then pick these stun people and win.
Right.
Now, while I would say that I still think those comps are strong, I don't see them as often.
No, you don't. But I don't think the stun meta is dead.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's just different.
Yeah, I still like. I'm still constantly seeing because I play Diablo a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Diablo Tyrande, Diablo Thrall, Tyrande.
Kel'Thas.
Yeah,
There are a
like
lot.
all of that. Just lock someone up and blow them up. That's still how you win this game.
Right. But I'm just generally, as a fan of the game, I'm really happy to finally see some real balance patches coming out every couple of weeks. And the cool thing is to me that they're minor changes to see. Let's see if we can tweak this part of this kit that's really giving people issues, and then maybe bring some other stuff up to date. Right. So big things to note in this patch for Heroes of the Storm, the February 10th patch notes. It looks like Jaina got some love. She got her Frostbolt damage increased as well as her Cone of Cold damage increased. I think they were basically looking at her as like she's not being picked as much as the other two mages right now, especially. But I think she's still good. Plus, I hear her Frostbolt build is really fun now.
Okay.
But you have to be really good at hitting skill shots get the most out of it.
I just happen to be good at hitting skill shots.
Sounds like she's the character. Do you pick up Jaina yet? She's pretty cheap.
I have her, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I've got her.
Um,
if I have to play like a mage, that's who I play.
Probably the biggest thing we're seeing here is Kael'thas nerfs. The biggest thing to note is the Gravity Lapse, his E, which is his skill shot stun. Stun duration reduced from 1.5 to 1 second. So it's still 1 second, which is a long time in a MOBA, right?
Yeah.
But they're looking at it from the case of like, look, we already know he does tons of damage. It's the fact that you're quite literally like you can just layer.
You're like,
the
well,
stun
I'm gonna
after
have
hitting
everything
that.
on me right now. Yeah.
Plus the fact that he does so much damage, and you would often skip your gathering power talent at level 4, permanent ability stacking, right? For a faster stun. That would make it really easy to hit a lot.
So it's basically a rise. Like, hey, let me drop everything on your.
That's a really good analogy. They did a small note. They didn't lower him and Jaina's attack damage. They basically are looking at heroes saying like, wait a second, they're characters who have pretty high attack damage for what they do, and it's not really relevant to their damage, so they're just lowering it to bring it in line. Okay. They increased the cooldown of his heroic Phoenix by 20 seconds up to 60.
Really?
Which is up.
It's already up like constantly.
No, it's up. It was 40 seconds.
Oh,
cooldown.
so
now
okay,
it's 60.
So
it's overall to Kael'thas, it's nerfs, not
good.
Heavy-handed, but basically now you can't just use it to clear a merc camp by yourself and then go to fight.
Right.
Like you kind of got to think about it a little more. And then they're trying to make Pyroblast a little bit more attractive here, especially considering that, generally speaking, decent counter to Li Ming, who I believe does not have an ice block, a Zonia's type ability. The Pyroblast damage went from 730 plus 4% per level to 810 plus 5% per level, which is huge. However, they say we want people to pick Pyroblast more or make it more comp specific where you might pick this. And then they increase the cooldown from 50 seconds to 100 seconds.
That's 100 seconds, a long time.
Yeah. So you want me to pick this talent more, however you doubled the time I could possibly use it.
I think it's part of nerfing, because he's picked pretty much every game. I think that's part of nerfing him in general.
Yeah.
But they still do want diversity in ultimate picks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the reason people didn't pick Pyroblast for a long time is champions like Uther who are sitting around who can just make someone invulnerable. Anybody who has Ice Block, you can never reliably use it on Jaina, for instance.
Magna Block or whatever.
Yeah, you can't use it on Cho'Gall. What are you kidding? So it kind of makes it stupid, but I have seen some fun videos out there that somebody did the math and figured out the scaling that at level 20 with max stacks of gathering power, you would kill a Li Ming in one hit.
I think like what they need to do to make it relevant is make it like Living Bomb.
Okay.
Where it, almost like Brand's ultimate, where it can hop to other people.
Sure.
You know? That would make it more interesting.
I think you have to change it, though. I just think the flavor of Pyroblast in these games is just a giant fireball.
It's it's basically Ringo's ult.
Yeah. I honestly, this sounds probably ludicrous, but if you're going to increase the cooldown like that, I think it needs to be a shorter cast time.
Yeah,
because you're kind of crippled and you're stuck there when
and you're not doing damage when you're using it. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't want to make it too overpowered. Then there's also some much needed probably buffs to Nova. Seems like she's a little undertuned. They went too far the wrong way.
Yes,
and so they're kind of bringing her back up with her snipe damage. Thrall is seeing a little bit of a nerf. His Sundering cooldown increased 10 seconds and his attack damage increased. Diablo small nerf. The damage reduced on his Fire Devil talent. Which is just, I believe it's just the one that gives you the damage aura around you.
Yep.
You know, let's see.
He's fine. He doesn't need messing with.
Picked in every game. Doesn't need messed with.
And it looks like they're bringing down Rhaegar a little bit just to kind of counteract what's happening to him. And the other character who got touched here is Falstad. They noticed that people are basically building Falstad when they pick him as an auto attack character.
Yeah.
They wanted to make Mage Falstad more of a reason to pick him.
He's basically other Raynor.
Other Raynor, other Vala.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. So they made his Boomerang talent, which is reactivatable and it does like a burst of damage, more attractive, as well as Hinterland Blast does more damage. You don't see anybody pick that anymore. It's almost always Mighty Gust.
Yeah, I like Mighty Gust.
But those are some fun balance updates. Again, just really happy to finally see Blizzard actually looking at the community's response. I know they read Reddit regularly. Of course,
and listen to the Lane podcast.
And listen to the Lane podcast.
Right.
That's how they get all their news. We also have in the news, I'm going to highlight NA, sorry EU. They might have already happened. However, seeing that they're doing multiple championships this year, all right, one for every quarter, it seems.
This is Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm still. The NA Spring Regionals are going to be held in Los Angeles on February 27th and 28th at the ESL studio in Burbank, California. I believe the qualifiers have already been going on recently. I think they're like Thursdays and Friday nights. I typically see him over on Solid Jake as a caster, his channel, or Gillyweed on her channel. But whoa, amazing save for people watching the video version.
And I don't even know. I don't even know if you can see it. The poros are in the way.
And he had backup too. Like if you missed that, I had it.
They haven't announced casters yet. I assume it's going to be the regular cast. That it's kind of a small community, casters and heroes, so they tend to do everything.
They need more. They need think tank. They need us. I think they need Brad and Jake simulcast.
Yeah.
He's diving that tower.
We could do color and technical, right? So you're Crepo and I'm Quickshot.
Okay, that's fine. You've watched Caldor streams, right? He streams EU sometimes, or cast EU. People call him Rap God because when a big fight happens, he starts talking really fast and it sounds like Eminem's Rap God. Yeah, it's kind of hilarious. But so this is fun. I guess I don't want to just upright and say, do you plan on watching this? But I think it's finally... I think what we need for heroes to be interesting, like LCS, is an organized, regular thing. Yeah. And I think these are the things that people watch more than anything else because a lot of these are homegrown tournaments that are hard to figure out when they happen.
It seems exhausting that they're doing multiple championships a year until you decide to look at the LCS analog, which would be a split.
Yep.
So it's not like a Worlds every year. I think they need to distinguish that specifically.
Right.
They need to say this is not the World Championships. I think they are saying that there's 3 World Championships a year or whatever.
Right.
They need to say there's this, and then once a year there will be one year's greatest tournament.
Yeah, and I don't have exactly the they had a nice timeline up, but I think they're just going to call these the spring regional, the summer regional, the fall regional, and then BlizzCon might be like, hey, if you won those, you come back or something.
Sure, it's like a invitational, and more.
But I think things like this help keep it regular, to keep it top of mind of people who might be looking for pro scenes. It's just most every weekend, even during the weekdays, there's EU tournaments all the time. I just can't keep up with it. The league has established a standard, and Dota, right, for their splits and stuff, to be like, look, every week, this day, this is happening. Tune in.
And if you're an organization or even a player looking like, well, what's the scene like? Oh, when do these games happen? Why do I want to invest my money or time into a game where I don't know when they're playing?
This is why Rick Fox didn't buy Bob Ross fan club.
Yeah.
Because the Rick Fox fan club just didn't sound.
Yeah. Well, it sounds awesome. I think that'd be hilarious.
Cool. Yeah, so check that out. February 27th, 28th, a $100,000 prize pool for the NA Spring Regional. So that'll be, I think the 27th is all the first games, and the 28th will be the final game. So should be cool. Moving into League of Legends, we had a bit of a, I guess you could call it a sad post if you were a fan of some, I'm just going to call it the lesser game mode because lesser played game mode. It seems like it wasn't quite as popular. Retiring Dominion is the name of the post. By Latency over on the League of Legends boards. And it's literally a blog post talking about the game mode Dominion.
All right, so what is Dominion for people that are listening or watching that never even played it?
Mm-hmm.
It's an alternate game mode. It's not the traditional MOBA. It was a circle-based map with different King of the Hill towers around the circle. And it was basically you take points off the enemy, or you get points by
capturing
and holding them for a certain amount of time. It's a separate map mode. There are a few different items. There's different summoner spells like Revive, I believe, is technically still in there.
I'm sure balancing that game mode was probably not a high priority.
It was a not priority.
So
yeah,
and I think that's what the post talks about, is basically probably a lower player count than, let's call Summoner's Rift the standard mode of playing,
or even ARAM,
and then below that is our
3v3, which I haven't thought about in a very long time.
Yeah.
So I think it's looking at their resources and where the company is and how the company needs to continue to grow. I think it's probably a smart move on their part to just move away from this less popular game mode at this point that's been around for, did they mention 4 years? Yeah, 4 years ago. Here's
the thing, man. When I first started playing League, before you guys got into it, I ranked up I played a few Summer's Rifts to start, but I eventually just played Dominion for 20 ranks.
Was that the name of the winter-themed Summoner's Rift map? Summoner's Gift?
Did I call it Summer's Gift? Did I call it Summer's Gift?
Yes. All right. But anyway, So you played a bunch. I think we tried to play together one time, and I just remember not understanding it.
Well, you had to play during that Shurima stuff. You had to play on that
and
map.
they threw it on the map.
The Ascension, yeah.
Do you think taking that team off of that is also like, hey, I don't know how many people might have been involved. Like, you need to work on this other game that is coming out. Like, come do this rather than.
I don't feel like they were spending that much resources on it to begin with, and I think it's just like Twisted Treeline. Like, consider how long Summoner's Rift has been updated, and they've changed the monsters, and consider how much work happens on Summoner's Rift from month to month. And the fact that Twisted Treeline and the Dominion map, and except for Bilgewater, the ARAM map, don't get touched.
That's true. Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's bittersweet. Even as a mode that I didn't play, it's sad to see something go away, because it sounds like, I think we're reading that players kind of just, it's like a weird little community that come up with their own type of mini games to play on the map.
Hide and seek that they played in there.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, so it's like a fun little community. Even streamers like QtPie used to play Dominion once in a while. It was just a feature of his stream, from time to time. So they're permanently disabling Dominion and removing the Crystal Scar map from custom games on Monday, February 22nd. So if you haven't tried it out, maybe just give it a shot just to see what it was all about.
What is cool is they are giving a custom portrait to anybody who to this point has played or has won 100 games.
Right.
But you have to screenshot it and send it in or something.
No, I thought it just knows.
Auto?
Yeah, it just knows that they took a snapshot. So they, before they announced it, so that was so people couldn't go, I'm going to just spam Dominion until it's gone and try to get that they just said minutes ago we took a snapshot of what everyone's win rate was on Dominion, and it doesn't regard if you were at 9 tough, if you've never done it tough, those who have 100 wins on it will have a special.
Were you even close?
I don't know. I don't even know. Can I look?
I don't know.
I
don't know. We don't know.
100's a lot.
I would. Yeah, 100 is a lot.
Yeah.
But here's what I like about the design approach, especially approaching this 4 years ago, and I think I could still use something like this. Dominion was kind of designed as a map to be all about player skirmishes. It wasn't so much worried about getting the objective to get to the Nexus or anything like that you typically expect from a MOBA, but to practice fighting in a way, right? Now, of course, the items being different, the summoner spells being different, the relative power level of any minion or tower that might be there is different, but I feel like it could use a sandboxy mode, because I don't know that they're ever going to go full sandbox, but a mode where it's just focused on go to lane and fight. Think of the arena mode we get to play for heroes, where it's just kind of like a goofy, quick fight each other mode, and then you get to figure out how to navigate that better. Like, I feel like I could be a better Lee Sin if I had a chance to just play 5 games in a row where all I do is fight, and I go, okay, I died doing this. Let me try this differently here. I feel like that mode could still exist. It also sounds like they are considering bringing back the Crystal Scar it might be a theme or some kind of one of their featured game modes that they do.
I like the idea. I read on Reddit, someone was like, why don't we just turn it into a rotating goofy mode? So every week, just like the hero rotation changes, we change whatever the goofy mode is. Halo does something similar.
The Hearthstone Brawl kind of.
Yeah, like the Hearthstone Brawl kind of thing. So maybe one week it's all for one, and the next week it's Doombots. To a point, I get that's a little difficult, and I'm sure that takes way more resources than
Just what they're
just
using
running
now.
Crystal Scar, but.
The one guy.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't keep up.
What if you queued up, not knowing what random game mode you were going to play? Would you play that?
I'm sure it's fun, but I think players tend to want a certain amount of control in what they're going to do. That's why you made a pick, the informed strategy decision there.
Think tank.
Yeah, look, they went the other way where it's like, I am picking my entire role and spot that I want now. I don't even want to get into a game and worry about that I might not get the role I want.
So sad to see it go, but it was not, except for Stark's early leveling. I think we didn't have a lot of experience with it here on the Lane podcast, but hopefully you Dominion players who enjoyed the game are too sad. Nothing you can do. I'm sorry.
Let us introduce you to those that played DC Infinite Crisis, Haunted Minds,
Dawngate.
Man, I still miss Haunted Minds. I tell you, like, on Hot Slogs, my win rate on Haunted Mines is, like, crazy high.
Yeah, because you can't lose anymore. Right?
Someone loses? Like, if my win rate's high, someone's has got to be low. Instead, I have to play frickin' Spider Queen over and over again.
Yeah. Also in the news, we have patch 6.3, some notes for League of Legends. You head on over to thelanepodcast.com and check out our show notes for episode 80. We do have a link to the full post on League of Legends website that includes all of these notes. Seems some champion changes, stuff like Corki getting his Q damage down and his R recharge time up. They're looking at people who are like super strong right now and figuring out minor tweaks that we can do with them.
Some echo buffs, though. There's an echo buff in there.
So you're coming back. The Q cooldown lower to early levels. Yeah, that's helpful. You're gonna come back just for that?
For Echo and Teemo and the Zerat portals.
And banner commands. Yeah.
It's my time.
Looks like Graves got a little bit of a nerf here as well. Same with Jax. Poppy, they seem to move her Q damage down, but the ratio to minion damage is increased, and the E cooldown is increased, probably because it's up all the time.
That's good. It is hard to clear a wave as support Poppy.
I remember you saying that last night.
Like,
and I felt
come
really
help
bad.
me with these waves. I can't do this.
Two of my favorites, however, that got touched this patch are Ziggs. The R sweep spot damage, his Mega Inferno Bomb, is actually more, so they're now rewarding you for, hey man, if it's a long game and you hit someone right in the center, you probably will kill them now, depending on how squishy they are, right?
Okay.
And then also they lowered Zed's R damage, his Death Mark, his ultimate ability. It used to be 30, 40, 50% of damage taken. Now it's 25, 35, 45. So it doesn't quite scale all the way up like it used to. But my impression is that they lowered this because of the new item added this patch.
The Zed item.
Which is the mini Zed item, is kind of what we're calling it. This is the Dusk Blade of Drakthar. It's a new item for assassins. It's
bullshit.
That's what Stark's patch note review would say under it. It's just Duskblade of Drakthar. It is bull. You know what I mean?
TLDR in this mother.
So it's a new item for AD assassins. In a world where we're starting to see the mage update still hasn't really fully come to fruition yet, right? But we're definitely seeing a lot more mobile. You're seeing a lot of LeBlancs, Orianas, Aries.
You gotta be mobile. Be mobile.
Victor, like you're just seeing a lot more mages. You don't see the Fizz and the Zed and all that stuff as much. So they needed to give them. Oh, I don't see Fizz.
Yeah.
I'm talking like pro level. The only stuff I end up watching.
Yeah,
but anyway.
Yeah, fine.
Agreed. It's still bull.
Yeah.
So the Duskblade of Drakthar, they even define it as basic attacks that give a mini death mark on your target. Right. So the total cost 32.50 gold. So pretty expensive. 75 attack damage, 5% bonus movement speed. Unique passive is 10% armor penetration, and the other unique passive is that basic attacks on an enemy champion apply Nightfall, which is a 120-second cooldown.
Man, it's going to be a hard game to watch if you have this. Oh, they got Deathmark, and Ludens is
you wouldn't
bouncing
get
around.
But either way, you're he has the Death Mark, and he's getting Nightfall stacks, and lots of stuff. So the way Nightfall works is after 2 seconds, Nightfall deals physical damage equal to 90 plus 25% of the target's missing health. If you get a killer assist on the target before Nightfall detonates, the cooldown is refunded.
Tank killer.
So essentially, as you're attacking them, you continuously add. It says basic attacks on an enemy. The 120-second cooldown, is it saying that only one gives a mini Zed ult and then it doesn't happen for another 2 minutes? Because I was originally understanding this item to mean every single time I attack, in 2 seconds you take more damage. That would be too broken.
Yeah.
I think it's one time every 120 seconds.
Okay.
And then it sounds like if they die, you get the cooldown
Is
back.
it activatable or is it?
Nope. It's just when you auto attack. So now
you get the reset if they die.
Yes, it means you can immediately just use it again and in 2 seconds take.
Okay.
Think of it like a mini Zed death mark. If you've ever been hit by Zed, he ults you, does a bunch of damage, and then after a short time, you take damage. Right?
This sounds
And then
really
if you
fun.
die, he gets to use again.
This sounds really fun to play against.
What you got to do is play with it.
No, I refuse.
Riven?
No,
Come on.
Oof.
never.
Heck, give it to AD Teemo. I don't care.
Yeah.
He's not an assassin.
Oh, you're poisoned? Pop.
Oh, you hit a mushroom? Pop.
Yeah.
Pop.
Sorry, I was skimming through the patch notes real quick, and I saw Dead Man's Plate on here mentioned that they increased the cost and decreased the slow.
Yeah.
But sorry, I was watching a tutorial video at one point from Soez, who plays for Origin in EU, and he kept saying Dead Man's Plate, but somebody in the comments had to ask, who's Desmond Plate?
Desmond Plate.
Just because of his accent. It was really hilarious. And now I'm going to call it Desmond Plate.
You really like it when the European players can't pronounce things correctly.
It's pretty funny.
You're just constantly bagging on Deficio's mispronunciations of things.
Look, Kog'Maw is the greatest thing to happen to EU LCS. And we all wait for them to pick Kog'Maw and hope that Deficio is also casting. It's amazing. It's wondrous. And then also in the news this week, Brad, you have something for VGL, for Vainglory, this week.
Yeah, so the Vainglory League second winter qualifier kicks off this weekend for EU and NA. So those would be broadcast on twitch.tv/Vainglory League. I believe it's 32 teams, so there's a bunch of different brackets, and they don't start broadcasting them all until like the round of 16.
Are you playing?
No.
Why not? Come on, man. You're like a coach now.
Yeah.
I'm just the guy that watches and talks about it. That's what I do.
You're Yamato Cannon.
Yeah.
You're the Yamato Cannon of VGL.
That's fine.
Yeah. Will you take that?
I'll take that.
All right.
You just always talk about how Timo is stronger than somebody else.
Better. He's the Prolly
I
of
can
VGL.
probably, yeah. I'll go over to EU and coach a
You
team.
didn't really cut it like when you tried to go pro.
Yeah.
And now you're just you're a coach in the EU now.
But your team's number one, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's probably my doing, not theirs.
It's totally you. It's totally
cool.
not.
So is this going to be... So it starts this weekend. I'm assuming it will be streamed on Twitch. They typically are.
Yeah.
This is not similar to what they were doing when they were over at the esports arena.
No, but this will
California.
lead up to it. It'll happen for, I believe, through the rest of February here, and then the NA Live Championships happen March 11th through the 13th.
I got to say, also, on this page, I love the slogan, the mobilization of pro esports. That's pretty smart.
The Momoization.
The Momoization.
The Momoization.
Prepare to be
Momoed.
There's a new Mo esports site called like Mo esports, and you read it. It looks like Mo Sports.
Mo, like literally a guy named Mo.
Yeah, it's talking about sports, but it's mobile esports.
It's Mo from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Talking about League of Legends or like or something. Yeah.
Not even.
Cool.
Candy
check-
Crush Saga.
Yeah, check that out. Always good to see what the teams are up to.
Yeah, especially I think I enjoy watching the pro stuff because I can't personally play at Vainglory very well. So I like watching people do stuff that I didn't think was possible in that game. Plus, I want someone to pick. Is Rhyme in a decent spot now? The old
He's
man
in a
wizard?
good spot. Gangster Serious Fuji picks him quite a bit. He's kind of one of his I guess pocket pick kind of characters.
I feel like we bagged on the guy a little bit when he came out, but I was holding strong, thinking this old man.
This old man's got
He played too.
gumption.
He played. Cool. That's going to do it for this week in our news. If you missed any of these stories, you can check out the show notes at thelanepodcast.com with episode 80. There's links to all these stories that we talked about and more over there. With that, let's get out of the news, guys. We're going to talk about Poppy from League of Legends in this week's Character Select.
Character Select.
In this week's Character Select, we all decided to actually kind of double up here a little bit and talk about a character who would also fulfill our requirements, or at least further our requirement or suggestion for our MOBA challenge this month to play the little guys or gals.
the shorties.
The shorty. Oh my gosh, I wasn't going that far.
Shorty.
That's what it should have just been called, right? We decided to play Poppy from League of Legends this week. Poppy, a character who I notoriously at one point said on the show would be the last character I would ever purchase.
That was pre.
Then they reworked her, and she's
pre-rework.
real fun. So I changed my mind. My mind was changed for me.
The skill, just like the kit, is more fun. It's a more entertaining for both sides too.
It feels really active, what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you're always on top of things. You always have something to do. And just as animators, we look at this animation walk cycle and stuff. It's great. The bounciness to her is really fun. Just the springiness in the character. It's just, I don't know. You can't help but smile when playing this character, unless you're dead. Then you're probably not smiling.
Which I was dead a lot when I played Poppy.
I-
Support.
You
Yeah.
needless to say, I was not
Me
smiling
too. I was doing a
whatsoever.
lot.
So Poppy recently reworked.
Sorry, Ernie.
Oh, Ernie had to endure that?
Yeah, Ernie had to do that.
Bummer. I had Brad as my support. It was fine.
He was trying to do the whole like Udyr Xzibit portal thing that's really popular right now too, and I was just like feeding bot lane.
Really
Poppy
interesting.
support.
Brad had a lot of plays where you were definitely going to die, but then you would make a really fun, like, I'm going to flash tackle this guy. And
Oh
then you
yeah,
can kill
that
him.
was like my best one. Where you're like, you flashed the wrong way. I was like, no, I didn't.
He's
I
dead,
like
isn't
knocked,
he?
I like
Yeah.
knocked
That's
him
what I
into my
So you
our
like
tower.
kind of flash into position so you could knock
Him
into
towards our tower.
That's
Yeah.
a good move.
I was like, yeah.
It's a good move.
So as you're hearing from us, Poppy can be played in the support role. You see her a bunch there. You also see her top. That's primarily where you're going to see her, although I believe she can also jungle.
Why not?
Poppy, yeah, why not? Throw her in there. 80 carry,
Sure,
whatever.
done.
With her passive, every so often you can be an 80 carry.
Yeah.
If you really want to.
Honestly,
Make it hit real hard. So Poppy, typically you're going to see top and bottom. Top and support is where you're going to see Poppy. We all had a chance when we're covering her for this week's show, which is of course being talked about on, I guess, patch 6.3 is this Poppy. So in the future, if she changes, you guys know that this data's a little out of date if it's at that point. But we all played her support.
right, because she's very popular support right now in the pro scene. I guess Alistar's getting banned a lot. So they're saying second tier after Alistar is Braum or Poppy.
Right.
She offers less, I guess, utility than Braum, but she's like a playmaker.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, you miss that heal, but it also in some respects feels almost easier to get that pin than it is to do a flash pulverize on Alistar or something. Plus, ulting people with Poppy is just one of the most fun things you can do in the game, and one of the most frustrating to play against, for real.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about Poppy's abilities. Her passive ability is called Iron Ambassador. Periodically, Poppy will actually throw her buckler, her little shield, her little baby shield. She'll throw it at someone and it goes.
It's called a buckler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually what the little tiny shields are called.
I know, but I like calling it a little tiny shield.
Yeah.
It's,
No. But like, in real life, like on planet Earth, circa several hundred years ago.
I do have a couple of World of Warcraft characters that also have.
Carry a
Yeah,
buckler.
but did you go to college for it?
For buckling?
For buckling?
No, I my first
Buckleman.
Swashbuckling.
my first year and a half of college, I was a Greek
Renaissance
and
fair
Roman
attendant.
civilization and literature major.
Dang.
Classics. Is
You know
what
all
they
about
called
your
it.
bucklers then.
So yeah, I knew all about my bucklers.
So the Iron Ambassador passive on Poppy. Periodically, she throws her buckler as her next basic attack. It falls near her target, and it remains there for up to 4 seconds. So if the buckler kills the target, it'll immediately bounce back to you automatically. The other thing is that, like many abilities these days in League of Legends, enemies can also step on the buckler to destroy it. If you go pick up your buckler, it actually grants you a shield for 15% of your maximum health.
Okay.
This shield is actually, to me, it feels pretty significant.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say go die to pick up your buckler. However, especially top laners probably can take this into account.
It'll let you take a poke shot.
It'll let you take a poke shot, and if you're like top lane dueling, your opponent might not consider that you have an extra 15% shield you're about to get, right? And also, she does throw her buckler, so this makes your auto attack ranged for that one. A lot of times I ran into a case where I forgot that the next one was going to be ranged, so I was weirded out when I didn't walk up to the creep.
Yeah, I don't. Is there an indicator that's
Yeah.
letting you
Yes.
know? Oh, I didn't.
There's a little icon.
I didn't even notice that.
You might even have a sparkle noise that happens when it's up, but yeah, a lot of times I think it just comes with playing her more often that you'll notice that your next attack.
I
will
don't
be
hear the
that
sparkle
range.
noise. It's way too subtle if it's there because I'm listening to my metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't hear. That wouldn't be in a metal song. What's that? Yeah. Her Q ability is called Hammer Shock. Your active ability is Poppy smashes the ground in front of her, dealing physical damage to all enemies hit. The impacted ground becomes unstable, which slows enemies standing on it before erupting after 1 second, dealing the same physical damage to all the enemies hit by it. So imagine you swing your hammer. This is actually a lot shorter than you probably think it is. Based on how big the hammer looks in comparison to her, this is a very short range.
It's like if she laid down on the ground. That's how big it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good example. So you do physical damage when you actually hit them, and then imagine it leaves behind a zone, and then after 1 second detonates, right?
And that'll stun them.
Yeah.
If they're in the detonation zone.
I don't know if it stuns them. They get slowed. There's nothing here but stuns. They get slowed if you hit them and they're standing on that area.
Right.
So theoretically, someone could walk into the slow if they.
I think if it like the secondary thing, you got the thing in front of you. Don't
Yeah,
you?
I just said.
Does it say stun?
It says nothing about
Oh,
stun.
that's stunned.
But I bet that was something else. This ability in most builds that I was able to find, because I had to look them up because I'm not a Poppy Pro, you max this a lot, and I was curious why. Because I like the Emax, but I guess Emax is more if you're going to like try to get picks earlier.
It's really good. I guess it's the closest thing she has to a wave clear.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
You can spam it and like it's her CC. I guess.
Plus, I guess now that I'm thinking about it, in team fights, people probably aren't paying attention to this tiny little hammer area.
Yeah.
The fact that it can do double AD damage or the damage twice to somebody in a fight is probably better. Our W ability, one of my favorite actually in the game. I think this is a pretty good counter to a lot of the mobility we're seeing these days.
F you, Lee Sin.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. The W ability is called Steadfast Presence. Passively, Poppy's total armor and magic resist are increased by 12%. If you fall below 40% of your max health, you gain Stubborn to a Fault, which doubles this effect to 24%. So some innate tankiness here, right? That kind of happens. The active ability of Steadfast Presence is that you gain bonus movement speed for 2.5 seconds, and you generate a barrier around you for that duration, causing all enemies who dash within it to be knocked down, and it deals magic damage to them. So it can only happen once per champion. There are very few. Ari has a couple of dashes. There's very few that have multiple dashes, it feels like. But essentially, it's a way of preventing people from hopping, right, or dashing away from you. This is a fun ability to try. You really only have to put 1 point in it early. You're not really worried about the damage, but I would say often I found myself using this ability in fights, trying to predict when that Lucian might dash away or when that Tristana might jump away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why your game went better. Than mine. Yeah.
You didn't even consider that as an option?
I thought it was more of like an engage to speed me up to get a better angle on the tackle.
Yeah.
Or as like an escape.
No, I could see
and
it.
Like,
I could see it either way.
Don't gank me. Yeah. I'm running.
I think of it like the thresh flay in a fight. Sometimes you might save your flay because you know you have a pretty good angle and enough group there that you're going to kill this Tristana, but you know she's going to probably try to jump. So it's like doing that. But the movement speed, I can see why you would also want to do it as, hey, I'm going to predict when that Lee Sin's going to try to Q me and jump to me and just pop this, and he can't.
Right.
Okay. So I think it's good either way, but it's a really fun ability. Actually, quite a big area around her too. So it goes well with her kit. We'll talk about kind of where you can fit that in here. Her E ability is called Heroic Charge. It's an active ability where you dash to a target enemy, dealing physical damage and carrying them along with you. If you collide with terrain, she deals the same physical damage to them, so let's call it double, and stun them. The stun increases the more you put points into this. So this is a clickable ability. You can click on minions. It's in that respect, you can use it as an escape.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's tricky.
That's true. That's
advanced level Poppy tactics here.
I was looking for stuff like that when I was feeding.
But
trying to get away.
How I looked at this ability is, if you're familiar with playing Vayne or Bard, I think are two close ones where you're kind of always looking for these opportunities.
Condemn.
Right, to have your ally between you and a wall, where you could make the extra damage matter as well as the stun is really important. Very important, I think, for soloing people. Brad, we mentioned your play in our game that we played where you kind of saw an opportunity that, you know what, I'm probably going to die here, but it might be worth it if we can also get the 80 carry to flash back in to get into position to make Heroic Charge work.
Yeah.
So, very interesting ability. So you see the combo quite often where you will Heroic Charge into a wall, immediately Q so they take the double damage from that, and then you might also W.
So they can't roll
they can't roll away.
I think we helped our jungler in the beginning, and I was worried that if I used that ability on the Krugs, that it would knock them through the wall.
Yeah, I think it can't.
No, it's not Alistair.
Okay.
You're not Alistair.
It would have been funny.
I was like, man, I better not try this. I'm really not sure on the distance of push.
And you should not be starting it first either. That's the other thing.
First game.
Yeah. All right.
We figured it out. Yeah. And then her ultimate ability is called Keeper's Verdict. This is the ability I mentioned. Is really fun to use. It has a couple of casts here, right? So the first cast, you channel for up to 4 seconds, retaining the ability to move, but you're actually slowed by 15%. And the cooldown's reduced for the ability by 30 seconds if you cancel the channel or you just don't use it again. So if you cast it a second time, Poppy smashes the ground. You have a pretty accurate indicator of where this is going to hit, sending out a shockwave. When it hits an enemy champion, a massive hammer erupts, dealing physical damage to all enemies around it. So the way this works is if you hit with a full charged one, right?
Yeah.
It's like the full. It's like a circle, and then a circle fills that other one as the indicator. It will knock them back. It will punt them back further towards their base, no matter what.
It always goes towards their base. So even if you're aiming it towards your base, they'll zoom behind you.
Physics-wise, kind of strange in those cases when it happens. However, the way that a lot of people tend to use this, it seems, is to do a mini charge, and it's just a simple knock.
Because it can be a big knock-up for multiple people. It's a very strategically variable alt. You know, like it can be used to do multiple things.
Yeah.
You can use it to start like do an engage. You know, where you get multiple people in that knockup. Mm-hmm. You can use it as the fight's already going, and I'm going to send this Shen like out of this fight. So we have a 4v5 right now.
Right.
It can be used as a disengage, like, oh no, Vane's going nuts and is going to get like a quadra kill here. Let me just knock her away and we can escape. Mm-hmm. It's just very strategically diversible. You can be used in a lot of different ways.
A lot of ways. Brad had a really good ult actually last night in our game where we were losing most fights. It was probably because we were grouped and the enemy team had an Amumu who wanted to look for this opportunity to ult, and Lissandra. In this fight in particular, Brad was able to get a clutch big ultimate off on Amumu
and get him out of
punt
there.
him away. So we were in a 4v5, ended up winning that fight, and Amumu couldn't do anything about it, right?
But many times I activated it too soon and
just knocked him up.
Or it missed or just like not, and I was like, oh,
it is a skill shot. Mm-hmm. So
you can also be stunned out of it.
Yes.
And I didn't read anything here on if it's
you can be hooked out of it.
If it's canceled, do you incur the full cooldown?
You do not, but it's still it's still like
30
10
seconds. Yeah.
To how long?
It says cooldown set to 30 seconds if the channel is canceled.
Yes. So it's still like, well, not using that this fight.
Okay.
So it's tough. It's definitely one that's tricky to get used to, and also it's very apparent what you're doing when you're doing it, so the enemy is probably looking for that ability.
Right.
But some tips I've seen with using Keeper's Verdict, you honestly never say focus the tank typically. However, if you can get a good one of these, I think on the back line, say Mage and AD carry on the enemy team and punt them away, and then 5 of you focus the tank, great, do that.
Cool.
Don't necessarily always worry about hitting the tank, because then you're just going to punt the guy who is in the fight away. You might look on the side of where you want to hit them.
And I kind of like aiming for whoever is the CC heavy person, so like a Shen or a Thresh, or just get that person who's gonna like F with your team fight out of there, like, and then your boys who can do the damage can do their damage without being F'd with.
Right. So again, we mentioned typically you'll see a max of either Q or E. I think the E max is more if you think early to mid game you're going to get more picks. Honestly, you want that extra damage.
I thought I was going to get picks, so I was maxing that, but it didn't happen.
But now I can see where the E. I actually want to try the Q max first build.
That's how I play it, because I play top lane.
Yep.
And that's how you do it top lane. So I do E and then I max W after that.
So I guess just some simple tips if you're getting started with Poppy. Definitely think of that combo of EQ and then maybe popping your W if you think they're going to get away.
Yeah.
But if you can make them incur double damage from both of your E and Q, you're gonna get ahead in trades easily. Another tip is
plus you're getting a shield.
Yeah, I was going to say also remember your Iron Ambassador trait when it's up that you could poke with a range, or just make sure you get the extra 15% shield because it's really really helpful.
Sometimes you can use it to finish someone off. I've done that a couple times. Running away.
Mainly AD, so you're going to see if you're going damage, you might even see like Trinity Force first, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen Black Cleaver builds, things like that.
Frozen Gauntlet.
Black Cleaver, I think, is a very good item on her, because if you build her tank, like the thing with Black Cleaver is Black Cleaver gets better the longer the fight kind of goes on, because you get stacks of it.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna go tanky, Poppy, I think Black Cleaver is a good addition to that to like up the amount of damage she'll do in prolonged fights.
Right. And then I think mainly the games I've gone, it's been as a tank, probably to my detriment because we get ahead, and then the games I played have gone well with her so far. That I just end up building tank, and I'm not sure what to build. Our game last night, basically we had players yelling at Brad to build different things every 5 minutes, and it's like, first of all, I'm support. I don't have money for that.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of money.
You know, so it's hard to know what we need when and stuff like that. But typically, if you're building your tanky or your bot lane, think about Locket if they have some AP, especially in lane, is helpful. Dead Man's Plate, always a good item on her. It's like an offensive-y tank item, right? That's the static Shiv type tank item, right?
Yeah.
I don't think to this day I've ever built a Dead Man's Plate. But
really?
I don't play these characters a lot.
So up until this latest patch, Dead Man's Plate's been get it on everyone who's even remotely supposed to be tanky.
Yeah.
Like, it's a must-buy item.
Right, just for some extra damage.
Thinking
of it like Diablo's Fire in a way.
It was incredibly efficient. People were just not even getting Randuins anymore because of it.
Yeah. So cool. That's all about Poppy, but let's talk about her skins before we get out of here. I'm going to awkwardly hold this up for the video.
She's got quite a bit, which because she's an older character.
She's cheap too, so if you're looking to pick her up, like She was in the free rotation, but I had to buy her, and she's like
800.
450.
Yeah,
450.
450.
She's in the base level champs.
Yeah.
If you've played 2 days in a row, if
If
you're
you
dealing
won 2
with,
games, you probably have her.
Yeah.
Like more, you know.
you've got enough to get Poppy.
So they also updated all splash art and all models when she got updated recently. So everything looks like
Really
the character
nice,
you know and
All
love
right.
now. We got classic Poppy, which is fun. Of course, Noxic Poppy, a little bit more gothic, right?
yeah.
In this respect. Blacksmith Poppy.
Okay.
I actually didn't know this was a skin, but I
No.
love the idea of it. It's
It's
really
an old
fun.
one.
Lollipoppy. What I love about Lollipoppy, as a fun fact for people who didn't know this, Lollipoppy was probably the worst splash art of all time.
Scariest.
Notably scary. And what they did was they preserved in the splash art her old, weird, ugly face that looked nothing like Poppy
Right.
in the lollipop, which is really
Yep,
fun.
they put it in the live.
But the skin looks amazing on her, right? We've also got Ragdoll Poppy.
I didn't know that was a thing either.
That's fun. What else? Battle Regalia Poppy.
That's the
Real heroic looking.
Yeah.
Right? White Knight kind of thing.
the master skin.
And then the Scarlet Hammer Poppy, which is maybe my favorite behind Lollipop.
I agree.
But I like fun skins, right?
Yeah,
The
we like
funny
fun
ones.
skins here on the lane.
So hopefully this was a good primer on learning to play Poppy. Again, we're basing this off our experience of only a couple of games of playing support, but I think she's already a character who's probably going to enter our rotations pretty regularly because she's just solid.
Not for support for me though. I didn't like her.
Just a solid, fun
I mean,
character, you know?
My experience with her on support was versus a Sona,
Oh, okay.
and like I was
Poked her
saying,
lane the entire time.
is anytime you get you get close, you're a melee champion. You're just gonna get queued by Sona, and then every 3 times she uses an ability, she does the power chord too, and it's just like, oh, I tried to walk up and get a Q on someone, but I just lost half my health for it. It's not worth it.
You basically have to hope that you can tackle her and kill her.
Yeah,
Quickly.
That's why you're like, I got my Swifties. F this. Later, Carrie. I'm going to roam around.
yeah.
Cool. Well, that's going to do it all about this week's character select covering Poppy from League of Legends.
Player
Give her-
top.
Give her a try. Top or support.
Player top.
Sport's fine. And of course, if you want to hear this or more character select segments, you can find those over at thelanepodcast.com. Next week, we are going to continue indulging in our MOBA challenge. While we're doing this, we're going to dive back into Heroes of the Storm. If you guys want to join us in trying out Brightwing, try her out this weekend while she's in the free rotation.
She's got buffs.
Just got some buffs. Very interesting healer. It's like a heal by proximity support. And she also is one of the only people that has a polymorph in the game that can completely nullify what somebody's doing, which is a lot of fun. So we're going to talk next week all about Brightwing in our character select on episode 81. With that, we're going to talk about resets this week in the queue.
In the queue.
In the queue, we like to talk about things that apply to almost any of these games, maybe that we can look at between the games and discuss. We've also used this segment in the past to chat about new game tactics and rules and things about the game that you might want to know.
Right.
It's basically, as Stark would call it, the potpourri of the show, but it's really our analysis of the games, looking at a higher level of certain things. This week, we're talking about resets in the game, something that we've probably mentioned many times before. However, this got brought up because of the introduction of Li Ming, the character, the mage character in Heroes of the Storm, and the community has gone bananas. There's no other way to say it.
Soraka bananas?
I wish it was that tasty. They've gone bananas because her trait, or her passive ability, is called Critical Mass, in which when you gain a takedown, it refreshes the cooldown of all of your abilities, all including your heroic. Now, granted, her heroics, particularly, are like 30-second cooldowns. They're real short anyway. You were going to use them again. But this has brought uproar in a game that, until this point, does not have resets. Now, if we consider other games, looking at League of Legends first, I guess, you got your Tristana, your Katarina, your Kazakhs. There's a handful more.
Hate them all.
Kali have resets? Possibly.
She does.
Something, I don't know. I don't play
She's an awful person, so probably.
But there are these characters who have this. Is there anybody with reset type of things in Vainglory?
I'm trying to think. There's people that have
Lower
Like
cooldown.
lower
cooldown.
cooldowns as you hit more abilities.
Sure.
I don't know if we have
Like
a
direct resets, right?
assassin that if you kill someone, you get it.
Right.
Everything's back up.
Now, how would you guys just generally describe the idea of the reset? What is the purpose of a reset in these type of games?
To make people throw stuff across the room.
It's because you're probably a champion that can easily be killed. So it's like you need to kill everyone before you get killed because you are like, poke you with a noodle and you die kind of thing. Like, so the idea is like I kill you faster.
Right. And I guess when we say the broad term reset, I should have just said literally the idea of resetting your abilities when something else happens. Not just lowering cooldown. A lot of people have
They
like
are up again.
Yeah, it's just literally I can use these again. I think that's usually the offset. The offset is if we give this character enough damage to be able to kill you, and when you die, it's reset and you can just blink away or do whatever you want. Usually the trade-off is low health.
Mm-hmm.
It is little to no escape. Right. The trade-off of being able to snowball that way, and that's another term that people use to describe resets is snowbally. Once you get 1, it's easy to get 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 on some characters. Typically, though, these are high skill cap characters. There's like a reason why they have resets is because it's typically hard to do.
Yeah.
Even on Li Ming, which I would argue is not quite as high skill cap as it was. Basically, you can everything's a skill shot that you actually have to hit, right? So for something like Heroes of the Storm, the only other reset that was around was Greymane. Right? He's got
his alt, and that's new too.
And it's kind of a reset. So I feel like more of the outcry of this currently is just that it's something that's not been in the game before. Right.
And which is why I like the game.
Because it
didn't
doesn't
have
have
Because it didn't have resets.
You're right. So like what is the counterplay to resets? Because as you're
CC.
saying, like from your perspective, you're saying resets aren't fun to you.
Nope.
Also because I would say you don't typically play those characters anyway. But when you play against them, you're like, well,
That was stupid.
you die or I die, and then my
Yeah.
team dies.
Just Katarina things.
just jump in there and
Just
jump
jump
to
in
the
there,
next
murder
guy, next
everybody's
guy.
face, and then walk away.
Right. I'm not sure what the direct counter to resets is
CC,
supposed to be.
I think.
CC, right.
Yeah.
Like, I think of Katarina, for example.
But you've seen what happens when CC becomes the dominant meta, right?
Mm-hmm.
When CC becomes more important because you have to, because everyone's, technically, or let's say everyone could do resets.
Right.
You've seen how fun a CC meta is, and it's not fun.
Right. No, I agree. But even without the CC meta or the stunlock meta that happened in Heroes recently, I've always been of the opinion when I'm recommending characters to players, pick someone with a stun. It's safe.
Yeah.
It's something, you can get away. You
Yeah.
can make a play. Like, that's what I recommend. Yeah, it sucks when you're playing against 5 of them, But I just feel like in order to advance these games forward, Heroes of the Storm, relatively new to the scene, I think resets are going to be a thing. It just has to be. Maybe what the community is more upset with is that she's too good at everything else. She has a free flash. It's not like super flash length.
What is she bad at, honestly, Li Ming?
She doesn't look that good on the vulture mount.
Right? No, I guess she's got a low health pool.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that low when
Right?
you're playing her. Like Lunara honestly feels lower. Probably isn't, but
It's probably not, but it feels like it is, because to be Lunara,
right.
you have to get in people's face,
right.
which you don't with Li Ming. You can safely kind of sit in the back.
Sure, and she doesn't have mana problems like people thought she would. I often play Jaina, another assassin, who doesn't
Way
have
more
an escape
mana problems.
But I feel like I'm going back all the time just to refill my mana. Li Ming, I
Yeah.
did not have that experience. So I guess just general thoughts on resets, guys. Should they be in MOBA games?
Yes, I think it ups the skill cap of the person. Usually those characters are higher skilled player. Like, people need to learn their kits. They understand them better. They are annoying to play. They're usually on the assassins.
Mm.
And-
I would like them. I think they're fine in general, but I would like to see them be less impactful when you get the resets.
You don't ever see very many of them or assassins in
Right.
MOBAs because they are frustrating. If a game was all assassins, like, people would be so pissed that they wouldn't play. Cause
Sure.
A reset I like is Tristana's rocket jump.
Okay.
I'm kind of fine with that.
Well, yeah, it seems like a little bit more. I'm not gonna say counterable, but you can figure out how to play against it, because really what she's doing is repositioning herself to either escape after a kill or get more kills. But she's just coming in to position.
Right.
That's what it is. It's not, and to an extent, Kha'Zix is that too, right? It's just the leap, I believe, that gets the reset, his E ability.
mm-hmm.
Now they both do damage, but it's not their main source of damage, I would say. Unlike Katarina, who is quite literally, oh, I can jump to you and also do this ability again
Right.
and this one again.
And then
But-
hit this and then
Yeah, her reset is on her jump. That doesn't do that much damage.
Mhm.
But the idea is she gets in there and then does. Her cooldowns are pretty low on her.
Right, exactly. I believe Master Yi also has resets in some sort of way. I can't remember exactly what it is. The other thing that's interesting about a game like they might have to specify with Li Ming here, as we're using her as our edge case, as our control group, right, to figure this out here. It says takedown. Literally, you can just be in a fight. If you were near it, your abilities are refreshed.
with Li
Maybe it
Ming's-
should be killed.
with how big Li Ming's orb gets at like its max range,
Right.
like you're probably
It's
gonna
hard to
have at
miss.
least touched the person that died. So here, have some resets.
So
Yeah.
kind of got two heroes in Heroes of the Storm that are starting to be solo carry people, right? For a year and a half, the game's been like, this is a team game. Like, you cannot make these flashy plays. They're not going
One
on
man
Reddit.
does not win a game.
But yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to say solo carry, but like can outplay you with the amount of damage they can do, and then kill the next person.
So
too.
now with
Yeah.
Grayman,
Jermaine,
Jermaine,
Dr. Spichemin.
no, didn't we
Li
decide
Ming.
we were gonna start calling him Jermaine?
Jermaine and Li Ming, they can both carry these teams, right?
I would
Less
assume
so
they
Jermaine,
can.
yeah.
It feels like Jermaine is can't even keep it up. It feels like he's falling behind because his reset is based on going in, which honestly feels like you need more skill than how Li Ming is currently. Li Ming can stay safe and get resets. You have to go in, and you can only get one reset, by the
Right.
way, on Greymane. You can attack
Until level
with your ult.
20.
Oh, you can up it to always get one?
So
Okay.
could the two of them be on the same team and basically just get a lot of resets because
Probably.
they could just work
Yeah,
together?
why not?
Right. But
That would be a good back line if you had Jermaine and Li Ming, and then like Diablo, Arthas,
whatever,
Monk,
Lily or something,
Monk,
who cares? Yeah.
whatever. That would be.
There you go.
Do it. That would be a great
Yeah.
team comp.
That's interesting because he would get his reset
Think-
quickly after killing the first person, and then even though he'd only get one more, Li Ming would continually
Yeah,
keep
she
getting
would
them in the
just
back line.
Mhm.
Wow,
So
double
they-
tank Greymane Li Ming.
So someone's instantly dead. Then next someone's dead because you got the resets. Li Ming's got the resets,
Mhm.
and now it's a 5v3. And
Right.
okay, we kill everyone else, or at least take the objective, whatever it might be.
Yeah. You saying you want to try that? Because I'm totally down. So I just think I just wanted to chat with you guys quickly about resets here because I think the community, first of all, needs to relax. We're talking about a character that's been around for 10 days.
Jakey says relax.
Yeah. Jakey says, don't shake Jake. Just relax here, right?
Yeah.
Resets are something new that we're not used to in this game. Even if you've played League of Legends, you play Dota, and these characters have resets that you know that's something you got to look out for as the snowball. You got to remember at the end of the day, too, even if she gets a bunch of kills, great, it's still team experience. If your team's out soaking the other enemy team and she's getting a bunch of resets, whatever.
Right.
But you can also pick characters to counter that, to stick to her, to stun her, right? There's ways around it. I don't know that resets in a game where there's huge team experience ends up being the deciding factor. Sure, she will get tweaked. Her damage is probably too high. Her mana regen is probably too high. Those kind of things. But resets as a concept, guys, I think is going to be around for Heroes of the Storm, and I honestly think it's
Well,
something
they're not
we
going to
need.
take that away from her.
No. I'm just saying, when the developers say, we got this idea for this character, and we were super excited about it, and so we wanted to build her, I love that they're passionate, and they said, this is the direction we're going with this character. The character's out. Like, have fun. I think it's going to be more to come. Once we have 5 characters with resets, and it's like, oh, you just need one on each team, then nobody will complain.
Tracer dash resets.
True. That could be.
Probably, yeah.
I can imagine that now that we have the blink, the teleport on Li Ming, Tracer's thing's got to work similar. Maybe you have charges instead.
Yeah.
No mana, just charges. Right. That's cool. Probably way shorter. And that's pretty short.
I'm thinking
already.
like Ari's alt.
Yeah.
Kind of foing, foing.
I think it's got to be shorter than that. I
Because
don't
she's
know.
fast, yeah.
Yeah,
Her whole
but-
kit is about being quick.
Yeah.
So anything, I think overall, I think that covers resets we wanted to talk about in the queue. If you guys have any opinions on resets in these games, kind of how you feel about playing against them, what are your counters to resets? You're going up against Katarina mid lane. What do you like to do? Email us, thelanepodcast@gmail.com, or let us know over on Twitter. We're active with you guys over there at the Lane Podcast
Or
for
ban her out. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, you can't ban her.
You can't
Not
ban
yet.
Iron Heroes.
It's coming down the road.
That's what they say.
It's coming soon.
Yep.
I think maybe
Maybe
we'll see.
push it sooner than later now.
Right. So that's going to do it for the queue this week. Before we get out of here, guys, we wanted to update you quickly on the world of fantasy LCS.
But I gotta know what's your fantasy.
Wanted to update you guys real quickly on our fantasy LCS standings currently, as we were doing a competition, as we've done the last 2 splits in the fantasy LCS for League of Legends against the Lola Podcast. You can check those guys out at lolapodcast.com. I think the current standings, according to Stark, after week 4 is 4-2 Lola currently, right?
Yeah.
Bummer.
Yeah, that's fine. It's early days. We're only halfway through the season.
We are coming off of a dominant split, so I think this is unusual.
They got
Time to
murdered.
retire then?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's too late. It's
So
too late.
we've already started the draft. So I think what we're seeing is some trends here is that typically in fantasy, it seems to be NA is where the points are at this split, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of them.
I think NA on general have an average higher point per game, but I have seen EU teams from week to week explode where they just destroyed their opponents that week.
Right.
Like G2 has been doing that a little bit.
But the games have
Origin
also been
last week.
going on longer because it just looks like no one knows what they're doing. It's like, should we fight this? No, let's
Talking about the EU meta?
both. It's just like we're
Kind of, yeah. The resident sleeper meta, as I've been calling it, yeah.
The funny thing is, Brad said that you feel like NA teams are just not good.
Right, like TSM. So
No,
what are they doing?
I completely disagree. I think that NA players or NA teams are better than they have been any other split. The import talent, like it's just that every team has
The competition is there.
Yes,
So it's-
okay.
yeah, I just think the play level is so much higher.
unless you play Immortals.
I would almost put at this point any NA team up against any EU team except for G2
H2K.
and H2K versus like I wouldn't put them against Fox. Team Fox, yeah. or
sorry, Rick Fox.
right.
I know you listen. We're sorry.
Yeah.
So, this week it's interesting. Like, I know how far ahead I am heading into the week because I have a lot of Origin players. I think I'm 4-3, 4 EU, 3 NA. But I tend to just watch the EU standings and then slowly lose throughout the rest of the weekend. But some interesting games. We record this on Thursday, so we saw the first day of EU Week 5. Origin looks to be back into form. I know they just played Splice, who's not the best team.
No.
But Splice feels, though, like a team, if they were going to make anything happen, they needed to beat the other team in the middle of the table, and that was Origin in this case. So from my own personal enjoyment, Origin looks to be maybe clicking finally. They also just let go of their coach. Xpeke was coaching as an interim this week, which was fun. Stark, you said huge game from Fnatic this week.
Yep. A lot of points.
Didn't play. You have the team, so you got 21, which is always
Nice.
good.
That's a lot of points for
I
a
don't
team.
have Fnatic.
I thought you had.
I've got.
I'm looking at Lewski's. I'm looking at Void Link.
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I have
Yeah.
Fnatic. Yeah.
Oh, but
That's
you had Reckless, but didn't start him this week.
I have Forbidden, Reckless, and Spirit, and I only started Forbidden.
For Bivin, yeah.
Just because I thought that the schedule of Fnatic was a little bit tougher than
Looks like Liquid schedule is
Then-
what you went with.
Liquid, right? Because instead of playing Reckless, Spirit, I went with Dardoch, Piglet.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like Team Liquid's they're scoring a lot of points per average. They've got higher points per game than their Fnatic counterparts. And their schedule looked pretty good.
Looked pretty good, yeah. So it's definitely starting to get. I personally had more discussion this week because I was looking at. I care more about the matches when I play against the Lola guys because it tends to be I have favorable schedules when I play one of you dudes, and then it sucks. So I'm like, ugh, I don't really care this week because
I killed you last week, though.
yeah, you
Yeah.
did. But here's how I felt about it, and here's how I cope with it. Right, you did kill me, and I lost. I won last split, so I've already won one. I'm good.
All right.
I have been first. I have been last. Anywhere else,
I have
is
never
new.
been. I have never been first. So
But we only care about beating Lola into the ground.
yeah.
Punch, sound,
Punch,
effect,
one punch.
think tank,
Oh,
one punch man.
one punch lane. I don't know.
One punch lane.
So, but genuinely, the meta that we complained about last week with this, like, oh my god, save me, don't die meta, this like really boring, don't fight because if we lose a fight, we lose the game. It's still
changing.
around.
Well-
It's slowly morphing, I think.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like you don't see that as much. Although NA last week was really interesting because you saw lots of Soraka Zillion. So both teams back to that like let's call it 6-on-6 because you can kind of save somebody last second and then like, oh, Zillion can pop somebody back up. Or Soraka can decide, oh, that person who was almost dead, nope, full health, you know. Mm-hmm. That meta I feel like is more interesting because you're more encouraged to fight because you have that backup, right? Plus, I just like seeing Zillion throwing bombs at people. It's kind of fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when is Jin's time, Stark?
Not this
I'm
week.
I'm ticked that Jin didn't get picked.
Not this week. You were typing away at me. Why? When would Jin get picked? I'm like, it's not going to happen this
I
week,
want
man.
new blood. I want Jin in there. I
It's-
want a new character.
It's the first week. This is the first week that Jin can be picked in the LCS, either EU and NA.
Yeah.
And I don't think he is immediately dominant enough for people to pick him over someone that they've played hundreds of games on.
Because you see streamers playing him because they can. They have nothing
And
to
he's
lose.
new. And he's
they have
new.
nothing to
Yeah,
lose.
it's new. It's interesting. It's, whatever.
So the LCS players, although they're trying things, they don't have time to spam Jin for 8 hours
They've
a day.
maybe got 30 games on Jin if they've been spamming Jin.
Yeah.
So
you think it's more a case of practice, not necessarily power level?
yes.
Okay.
Because I think he is strong. He's just not.
Yeah.
He's not as strong as Corky Lucian.
I think he needs
That's right,
more
yeah.
lane synergy with his support than other
Sure.
ADCs because his attack speed is constant. So he can't just kind of like roll over someone. So we need someone that can kind of set up his burstier
Shots and stuff.
shots. So like an Annie, anyone who's got like a long CC, Morgana, Lux.
I feel like he could even work though with like Braum slow is pretty brutal.
But
Alistar knockout.
he's never gonna work with Braum.
Okay.
Because Braum needs the 4 auto
like quick autos
to get the autos, and so by the time you proc Braum stun with Jin, he's got to reload.
All right, prediction: the rise of Jin brings back Nami support.
Yeah.
Hit your bubble, free skill shot.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and the wave
Plus heal, and you can like play up a little further with the heal, knowing that you can also help bounce that or something. Like,
but
it's not going to be broken. I'm just
But
saying.
why Nami if you can pick Janna?
Eh.
Oh, because consider that Janna also has the attack speed buff. They both do, but the thing is the attack speed buff
Will it
on
convert,
those
though?
champions does not like it doesn't change his attack speed. It increases his attack damage power.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that so it applies the same way where Jin all of his attack speed scales to
Attack
or
damage.
change damage. It's items and abilities. will
Yes.
cause okay. So,
Anything that buffs the attack speed will buff his damage instead of attack speed.
so then they kind of offer the same buff in that regard, right?
Yeah.
Because she gives him Nami has the attack damage buff if you I think it's your E ability or
And
something.
Nami
so-
has a shield, or Nami has a heal instead of a shield.
right.
I don't know. I feel like
Probably more
Janna's probably the better pick.
Janna's
still.
a better team pick, I
Yeah.
would say, especially when in a meta where Braum is good, Nami's not great.
Yeah.
Because
So,
Janna alt. Ooh, so good.
I hate it so much. I don't know.
get
So
out of here.
yeah,
That's what every time I imagine that she's got like a
she's a grandma Janna.
no, she's got like a
Just
Minnesota accent. So she's like, "Oh, get out here."
blowing people away.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The wind is a changing.
Cool. So we will keep you guys posted throughout the LCS split to let you guys know how the competition between us and the Lola Podcast guys is going. We're having a lot of fun with this. You can, of course, do your own fantasy league over at lolesports.com and check that out. Let's get out of here, guys. It's been another action-packed show. If you said you like 2-hour shows, you're going to get real close to it. So from then...
But first, we
Oh.
got a new iTunes review. We should read these.
I'm going to let you guys... Sorry, I have
Yeah.
bad vision. You tried to show me something, and I shook
I
you off.
was trying
like,
to show you we had 19th.
I was literally a catcher going, no,
Right.
next pitch.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
no, you don't want that pitch.
So we do have a review from iTunes. Stark, go ahead and read that.
So this is from Sergius91, a listener from the Netherlands. The lane is international, apparently. Yeah. Not only listened to by Rick Fox, Dustin Browder,
The luminaries.
yeah, the luminaries of the world,
entire Netherlands.
but also the wonderful people of Europe and the Netherlands in particular. And the title of the review is "Loving This Podcast." Started listening because I couldn't get enough of Shatter the Vein, which is Brad's Vainglory podcast.
Shadowvane.com.
I'm loving that you guys are now doing a 2-hour-long show. So that's a vote for the longer shows. Only leave 5-star reviews, he writes. Boom.
Nice.
That's Team Stark.
That's awesome.
Like
It
I
seems
said, I'd accept 4.
No.
But Stark said no.
Sergius says Team Stark.
Team Stark.
Yeah.
Which means he'll also not be playing Teemo anytime soon.
No.
Yeah, awesome, dude. Thank you so much for the review. That's so cool to like think that, I don't know. It's easy to like think where people might listen to your show, but someone halfway across the world listens to it is like so cool. I don't know. Very excited. Thank you for leaving the review. If you also want to subscribe to the show, head on over to iTunes, subscribe to the Lane Podcast there. You can find it on Stitcher too. I still am going to recommend just using iTunes. It seems to be just generally better.
Yeah.
And of course, if you want to leave a review like the one we just read on the show, we love getting reviews from you guys. It definitely helps the show grow. Stark is in the camp of only leave 5-star. Brad is accepting 4-star reviews.
Dude, how
up
awkward
until
is
the
it
end
if
of the
we've
month.
got like 4.8 stars? Like that's super
It's
awesome.
better than 4.
It's showing that we need to improve.
Yeah,
Like,
it's room to
what can we do
improve. We
better?
can't be 5 from the beginning. But guys, head on over to iTunes, leave us a review if you feel so inclined. We definitely love you for it, and we like making the show, so that'll keep us going. Of course, let's get out of here, guys. Where can people find out more about you, Brad, when you're not recording the Lane Podcast?
So you can follow me on Twitter. It's @brad. My blog is digitalhitchhiker.com. And like the review mentioned, Shatter the Vein, I think there was like 3 episodes I put up this week. So
big week.
check that out. Yeah.
Cool. How about you, Stark?
I'm Dr. Starkweather, at Dr. Starkweather, Dr. Starkweather, on Twitter. In most games, Battle.net is Dr. Stark number 1134. I'm not, apparently can't play Adventure Time Battle Party anymore.
So forget that.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that one. But yeah, that's me.
Cool. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Jacob Williams. My in-game name is in the show notes, but it's also Fizzban, typically on any service that I join. You can follow more of the Lane Podcast on social media. We're on Twitter at the Lane Podcast, Facebook.com/the Lane Podcast. Of course, if you are one of the dozen people left on Google+, we are there with you. Check us out over on Google+. Just search the Lane Podcast. We still don't have a custom URL. That's how busy they are over there at Google+. Of course, we've mentioned it a few times. Email the show if you have any thoughts or things you'd like us to discuss on the show, thelanepodcast@gmail.com. And finally, the main hub for the show, thelanepodcast.com, where you can find shows, show notes, links, our character select segments, and much, much more. That's going to do it for this week, the 80th episode of the Lane Podcast. I still consider it significant.
It's not a prime number.
You know why it was significant? Because it was a return to form of 2-hour shows. That's what we're going for. Or nearly there.
Just about hit it.
We got dragged this out if we wanted to our show.
Yeah.
We're real close.
So
Yeah.
Well,
streaming
thank you
on
for
again, streaming on Twitch.
listening.
streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/The Lane Podcast. I cannot keep this going any longer. Guys, thank you for joining us for episode 80 of The Lane Podcast. We'll be back next week with another fun show.
Take care.
See you.
The Lane Podcast.